We're Talking Drums, creating conversations with the world's top drummers in the most extreme genres. This episode is brought to you by Los Cabos Drumsticks, Canada's #1 choice for drumsticks. They provide the wood you need to make the beats you deserve. Los Cabos Drumsticks. Now with your host, Cory Hoffing.
Welcome to a brand new episode of the We're Talking Drums podcast. How are you guys doing? It has been quite a minute. I just got back from about 6 weeks on the road. We did 4 weeks in the United States supporting Glory Hammer and Ailstorm, and thank you guys for having us out. That was absolutely fucking amazing. Such a great experience. Was a lot of driving and absolutely exhausting, but the shows were worth it. The fans were worth it. You guys were incredibly nice to us, and I cannot wait to get back to the United States and play for all of you because it was absolutely amazing. The warm welcome we got as an independent band, our first tour ever, it was absolutely sick. So thank you guys so much. And second of all, thank you to all our European fans. You guys were incredible. Showing up to our first time in Germany and Belgium, and you show up with our shirts on. Like, it was mind-blowing for us. Again, independent band, and you guys are showing us so much support, and we are so thankful for that. So if you are a fan of Lotharo and you're here for the first time, thank you very much for tuning in and supporting the pod. And if you don't know my band Lotharo, then check us out, lotharo.com. And we're on all the socials. You can find us, but all the links will be on our website. So head over there and check out everything we got. We also have our own podcast, which we will be starting back up as soon as everybody is back in the country. That's Live, Laugh, Lotharo. But we have many episodes out already, so you can check that out. And yeah, I think we should get into this week's podcast, maybe. Is there anything else? Oh, Patreon. If you want to support the podcast in a financial manner, it's only $2 Canadian, which is like $1.50 or €1.50. So that's it. A month. You get all the episodes early. I am really, really hoping to set up some very special things for our Patreon members because you guys are absolutely amazing and so supportive, and I love it. It helps me do everything that needs to be done here. So thank you. And secondly, if you just want to support the podcast in a way that helps us grow, it's please share our episodes with all your friends, share on all the social medias, Instagram, we're Talking Drums. So please tag us, tag our guests, share, like, subscribe, whatever. We got all this on YouTube. I'm trying to do all these episodes in video as well so we can get on YouTube. I know you need to do it nowadays. It's exhausting, and I do everything myself here, and I absolutely am not complaining because I love it, and I've made some amazing friends by doing this podcast. So I can't wait to dive back into it and hopefully be doing these more and more since I am home for a little bit of time now. So if you would like to be a guest, or you want to suggest a drummer to come on the podcast, then please send me a DM on Instagram or on Facebook, and we'll make it happen. If you're old school, use email. We're talking drums at gmail.com, so you can send us whatever you want there, Okay. I think that's it. I think I'm very, very rusty at this thing at this point. So thank you for bearing with me. This week's guest, very, very, very special guest. This is his second time on the podcast. We got together when he was kind of at the start of his tour in Toronto at the Phoenix Concert Theater, and it was an absolute pleasure to sit down and hang out with him. Not saying who it is, even though you know who it is. this was their first tour back after tragically losing their vocalist. We touch on that a little bit, but the biggest thing is moving forward. They are. I am so excited for everything they're doing. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. We talk about how he broke his pedals and he has to fix them, and there's nerdy drum stuff in there too. Okay, so don't worry, all you drum nerds. We talk about pedal settings. Okay, finally, I know that's all you guys want. You just want to know everyone's pedal settings. Well, guess spoiler, it's not very exciting. So, but it's in here. So. Take a listen. You can find out everything you need to know. This is my talk with the one and only Alan Cassidy from the Black Dahlia Murder. Alan Cassidy, welcome to another episode of We're Talking Drums. Second time. How you doing, man? How's the tour going?
It's great. We are only about a week and a half into this, and all of the shows have been pretty great so far. People are excited to see us, which is great. It's awesome for us to just get back out and do things again, because this is like the first tour that we've done since the fall of 2021. So it's been about a year and a half since we've gone out and done anything, and then it was a year before that last tour that we had done anything. So this is a weird time period for the band of like a lot of inconsistent activity, which is like not something we're used to. But to get out there again, have all these people out here and cheering us on and excited to have us back. It makes us, really happy. And I played a couple of sold out shows and they were pretty energetic. Detroit one was like really awesome and everyone was stoked and that was sold out. But so it's going pretty good and looking forward to, seeing how it all unfolds.
Yeah, man, because last time we talked, it was right after that first tour back after the COVID stuff, and it was, like, insane. Like, you were talking about how amazing the shows were and stuff like that, and now you're kind of in this, like, new era of the band, and it's really awesome, the support you guys have gotten. Like, just seeing it online, seeing some of the shows sold out, everything like that, like, everybody's totally on board. And, the fact that Ryan Knight now has come back into the band, like, I'm excited for tonight's show to see him play live with you guys again, because, like, the lineup you guys have now is, like, fucking killer. So.
Yeah, and we're definitely excited to have him back in the band, and it's been really cool hearing him trade off solos with Brandon and kind of just hear how they can work off of each other now together, and having two lead guitar players is really gonna open some shit up, and you'll be watching them trade some solos tonight, and it's been really cool, and I'm excited to just see where that leads us.
Yeah, man. And I'm assuming some new tunes in the near future.
There's stuff being kicked around, and it's sounding pretty awesome so far. So that's about all I can say on that, but get excited.
Yeah, get stoked. It's gonna happen. All right. Yeah. That's sick, man. Yeah, like you guys were, I think it was 2 nights ago, I guess you played your hometown, like Detroit show. But before that, you did one comeback show in Detroit, right? Like that was like just like a one-off, boom. What kind of feeling was that to get back on stage now, having Brian as the front man, and having, like, that was sold out. Like, how, like, what kind of feeling was that for you to get back up there and do that with everything that's kind of happened in the last couple of years?
It was obviously like a mix of emotions, because it was like to come back, to play that show. It wasn't so much about like we've been, forced by the world to kind of stop, and as soon as we can get back out there with everybody, we're going to go do it. Now it was like, well, we had to take off time because we lost, our singer. And so, there was the one side of it that's like, we're really happy to be carrying on and doing a show for the first time in forever, but we're happy to be doing that at all because, for a second there, we weren't really sure how we were going to deal with that situation. And so yeah, that and then of course, like, coming back for the first time in forever and with Ryan back in the band, and then Brian moving on to vocals, that was a whole new ball game. Like Brandon and Ryan, had to learn backing vocals that they didn't do really as much. And Brian had to learn all the lyrics, and then Ryan and Brandon both had to learn different guitar parts of all these songs that they've already played, but it was like their opposite, guitar parts.
Yeah.
And so it was really scary, I felt like, because, for having everybody be in the band previously, it was just all new roles for them, kind of like in certain ways. And so to get back up on stage and play a show with this new scenario, and also the outpour of support from people after this happened, and like after we made the announcement that we were going to carry on with Brian on vocals, and that being so super positive, that was great, and that definitely made us feel better. But like, still, when you get on stage, you just don't know like how people are going to react, and that was just like overwhelmingly positive. And everybody was just like super supportive of our basically our first comeback. And so there was a lot of emotions and a lot of just kind of like, I feel, general anxiety about everything, all those different levels, you know?
But man,
overall, I think it went really well, and it just made us like more excited to try and carry on and keep doing this,
Yeah, I know, because when everything came out with Trevor and everything, and like the last time we talked, because I went back and re-listened to our conversation not too long ago, and I was talking about how I feel like Black Dahlia Murder, in my mind, is one of those legacy bands. And when that happened, I was just like, no, like they have to be like a Cannibal Corpse that it goes for 40 years, like, like, no, it's like can't be happening. And then when the announcement came with Brian stepping in, I was like, this is like makes the most logical sense, like for him to step in as frontman. He's been there since the beginning, like it's his band. So like I was super pumped that you guys made that choice to continue, and then getting back Ryan Knight, bringing old members back in. Dude, I can't imagine how challenging that would be to like learn. You already know all the songs, and then you have to relearn the song, but certain parts you're learning differently, and it's like, that'd be really difficult for him to step in and do that. But yeah, dude, you mentioned earlier in the day that they might be doing some like cool harmony type stuff now together.
Yeah,
live.
Yeah, it's they've been trading off sections of the Funeral Thirst solo, and they have a little harmonized part at the end of I Will Return, like the album. And there's a few other things, but it's pretty awesome to just like see it done with two guitar players, because like they were always able to like hit a pedal or whatever, but it's not the same as like the whole theatrics of it,
And like Brian was always like rhythm player.
Yeah,
like he had tight as fuck rhythms, but he was always rhythms, and then you had your specific, like the traditional sense of rhythm and lead guitar players. Now you have two guys that are absolute shredders. Like, dude, I think the future, you're just gonna be unstoppable. Like I can't wait for this new stuff.
I think the potential is like so much at this point, and I'm excited to see where it goes too.
Yeah. All right, we've been talking about guitar players way too much. Perfect. What are you drinking?
So I got this beer. It's called Master of Extremity Pale Ale, and it's from Bone Up Brewing Company. I believe we got this in Cleveland. Our merch guy many tours ago was coming through, or no, he was at home. He lives in Ohio, and we came through, and he was so gracious to pay for a case of beer for us. And so like at the bar, we just got to like pick out a whole variety pack.
Oh,
and
nice.
So this just happened to be one of them.
Yeah. Okay, so that's a pale ale. What is your type of beer of choice? Are you an IPA guy? Do you like a stout?
I am an IPA guy. Like that's primarily what I'm into, and I'm kind of like middle of the road in terms of beers. Like I can't drink stuff that's too light, like a Pils. It doesn't do it for me. I'm not like about the flavor. It's too watered down. And then depending on like what kind of a stout or a porter, I can sometimes get into it, but then that's almost just too heavy and dark for me.
Right.
So I need like a good middle, like it's got some body and it's got a little bit more viscosity maybe, but
a little citrusy or like flowery fragrance to it.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
and the citrus thing is a big deal for me because I like Hefeweizens as well.
Yeah, okay.
And those are really orangey. And like some blondes and Belgians are cool. I like red beers, but IPA is like my go-to. And I'd say like out of Michigan, there is a company there called Bell's, and they have a beer called Two Hearted, and it's got like a label that has a trout on it. And it's like a international, maybe just national, I'm not sure, but like multi-award winner. And so it's like always really well rated, and that's like I think one of my favorite IPAs that I've had and can like get regularly.
Yeah. Like we have so many microbrews and like craft breweries and stuff like that here, like especially Southern Ontario. There's no way I could ever pick a favorite. My go-to is always Goose Island IPA because they used to have that on tap at a lot of bars here.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, if I can get draft IPA, like, hell yeah. But now there's so much selection. Like, it's insane.
And that's another thing that is great and sucks at the same time because you're either never going to get the same beer again because maybe it's like a small batch or whatever, you just might not go to that place again and have it, but also you just never know exactly what's going to be great, and so you're always wanting to like try new stuff, and so it's always a shot in the dark as to whether or not like it's going to be something you enjoy, and then you're just getting full off a crappy beer, but at least you had it.
At least you tried it, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, I don't think I've ever gone wrong with an IPA. Like most of the time, it's gonna be good.
I will say, for as much of a fan as I am with them, I have absolutely had a good number of really bad ones that I didn't care for. Like it was way too hoppy, or it was like,
I love the hops though.
It's good, but like just not when it's overpowering. Like I feel like there needs to be a good balance of like citrus if you're gonna make it really hoppy, or just probably don't take it to that level of like you can almost see the ground up pine cones that are in here.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it definitely had some extremely hazy IPAs. Yeah, there's something. Do you, because like right now, like I'm not drinking, and so I do enjoy having beers though, and so when we're on the road or anything like that, like I'd like to get non-alcoholic beers, so at least I can like pretend like I'm partying or like I'm one of the team. And they've actually got some really good non-alcoholic IPAs now. When
Nice.
Before, like, the non-alcoholic stuff was like garbage, absolute garbage. So yeah, I'm stoked. And I never liked sours ever. Like, I hated sour beers, and they were huge couple years back. Like, everybody had their own sour and everything. It was like, it's disgusting. But I tried non-alcoholic sour, and it was pretty delicious.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was great because the non-alcoholic ones, you get zero aftertaste.
Oh,
So but with the sour, it still lingers a bit. I don't know like what the difference is there, but they're like so flavorful that I'm like, okay, I can just sip on this and it's fine. The other ones, it's just like drinking water, right? With a little bit of beer taste, and it's just like, it's not that great, but you know.
Well, I'm definitely happy that they're stepping up their game for, all the responsible people that still want to kind of like have that, flavor of an adult beverage, but never tried it before. It's interesting though that the flavors change like between non-alcoholic and regular.
Yeah, I think the alcohol has a big big thing
maybe
in there, like it's the main point of why they started doing it in the first place.
Yeah.
So, yeah, fuck. All right, well, fuck. Should we talk about drums? Maybe.
Yeah, man. What you got?
Yeah, I don't know. You're having trouble with your pedal settings there.
Oh, yeah,
your
right.
pedals.
So
let's get into that, and then we'll see where it goes.
Right. So I just spent probably about an hour taking my entire Demon Drive pedal apart, like from. I mean, just down to almost every screw on there, and pulled out the bearings and stuff, because this thing was squeaking like crazy. I mean, it was so loud that if you didn't have the house sound on and you were just hearing me like acoustically hit the drum with the pedal, the squeak is almost going to be as loud as the fucking hitting the drum.
Yeah.
And
I heard it in the backstage when we were playing with it, and I was like, yeah, that's not good. You're gonna pick that up in the overheads even when you're playing.
Yeah.
Like, it was loud.
Yeah, definitely to some extent. But I've had that pedal for about 12 years. Got it, I think, in like 2011, and I hadn't done a whole lot of maintenance on it, and it's just been on like so many tours, and just gotten covered in sweat, dust, dirt, everything, and it was just getting into all the joints, and like some of them are rusted. Definitely just never really thought to take it apart and try and like actually clean it and maintain it, because I'm just like, hey, if it's still working, it's working. But
I'm the same way. I took mine off and actually like cleaned the dust off of it, and I was like, this is disgusting. I should do this more often.
Yeah.
Like,
the level of stuff that didn't come off with the air duster is disturbing.
Yes, it is. You need some like serious like wipes and like fully clean it off.
Yeah,
like, submerge it in some kind of cleaner. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Give it a bath.
But we got it all figured out. It just turned out to be a fucking squeaky direct drive like bearing or whatever, and it was funny because like I had already done this years ago and just fucking didn't solve the problem, so I really wasn't expecting this to work. And I also thought it was going to be the heel plate, because that was like the thing that I didn't do the last time that I did this, and nope, turned out to be one of the things I went over, and now it works. But I'm not complaining. We figured it out, and it's all good.
Yeah, man. Now you're laughing. You don't need to worry about it. What are your pedal settings? Everybody always asks. When I talk to people, I'm like, all right, I'm talking to this guy. Do you have any questions? Or that guy, whatever. And everybody's like, ask them about their pedal settings.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's just like, what are their pedal settings? Because how do they play so fast?
Right.
So, and I know what they are, and I've talked to everybody about it, and it changes between every single person.
Right. And I have the most boring answer for you, and that is like literally stock settings.
Done.
That's it. It comes out of the box, and they have it where the direct drive is on one of the certain like cam positions, and then like or whatever that is. I don't variable lever thing on the axis, I guess. And yeah, and then the cam is set up on a certain one, and the spring tension is like down around the first or second notch, and literally you just pull it out of the box, it's like completely ready to go. And I have messed around with it in the past and changed a bunch of it just to see how I felt, and I just kept it the way it was because I was like, that is literally like what I'm pretty much used to and looking for, and yeah, how easy can that be? You know, just pull it right out and play, and you're good.
And you're good. That's it. Because like I've had times where I was not happy with my playing, so I'm like, you know what? It can't be me. It's got to be the pedal.
Yeah.
You know? So I go and I start adjusting everything and like put the footboard up, put the footboard down, loosen off the spring, tighten the spring, like changing everything. And then I end up going back to the same settings I had before. And it's like, no, I just have to practice more.
Yeah.
That's all this boils down to.
It really,
right?
yeah, it really feels like if I'm not doing well, that there's got to be a way to like just, you know, yeah, fix it within the settings or something. But yeah, it feels worse to then start trying to play other things that you're comfortable with on a different setting, and then kind of finding that that's like not feeling right now, but the thing that you wanted to fix is like better. But you know, yeah, I always kind of feel that it's like it's got to be something about my technique, or it's got to be like just a tricky sort of passage deal that you're just gonna have to really build the coordination and the chops for, you know?
That's it. And once you get the muscle memory for the settings that you have, like if you change something, then your muscles react differently to it. Right?
Yeah.
Like if you tighten your springs right up, it's you're using a lot different muscles kind of to the more sometimes more to push down your pedals, so you're not going to have the same muscle memory there as you did when they're a little looser, or vice versa.
Yeah,
right, like your muscles really like keep that in. If you practice enough with the same settings, then you know you should be fine.
Right. And
right?
I'm a big creature of habit in terms of the way that I play with my setups and stuff. Like I can deal to an extent with like certain things, but I would say that, you know, like even using shoes, it's kind of weird. Like I just had to buy like new drumming shoes. I use the like Puma Super Ligas, and then I also like to use the Adidas Sambas. Those are like the best for doing swivel technique for me. And yeah, but if I was to use like some other shoe, it kind of throws you off because like the difference in the thickness,
big time.
And even like the soles of them, you know, like I've noticed that the Super Ligas for some reason are really good about staying slick for a long time, whereas the Sambas will wear down in the center like rather quickly, and they'll also get a little bit sticky as you
as they wear down, the rubber gets softer.
Yeah.
I'm dealing with that right now because I used to use Vans.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, just like the low cut, like flat sole Vans, and like I used to use these like Reebok running shoes, and they worked okay, but they were never that comfortable. And then on tour, my everyday Vans, I just went up during sound check and I was like, you know what? These feel great. I'm going to use these. And then I had to start using my like shoes I go for like jogs with, like running as my everyday shoes. So yeah. And actually I sat down at the kit with these on, just my everyday shoes, and they feel pretty good too. I don't know. And they have like a nice cushy sole. So it's like, I'm like doing double kick on a cloud.
Right.
You know? Like it's kind of nice. I don't think I'd want to do shows in them, but just like sitting down and playing is like, this is actually like super comfortable.
Yeah. It's funny that drummer for Gorguts, he was talking to me when we were playing at the Philly Metal and Beer Fest, and like, he was like, "Oh, these are your shoes," like talking about like my slip-ons, and they're all like torn to shit, and you can see on the bottom that like
this would work great, man.
They're the whole bottom is like, you know, blowing out now.
That's what mine's starting to look like now. I might need to buy a new pair before tour, but
but like, I was like, oh no, these aren't my shoes. Like they're too beat up and just don't really feel comfortable. And he's like, well, I got mine on, and he's like wearing these fucking like Walmart dad slippers. And I was like, oh, ha, 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 funny joke. And he's like, no, for real. Like, they feel great. And I was wow, well, I mean, at least you found something that works. And it is, like, probably pretty comfortable. So
yeah. I've done sound check in sandals before. And I don't think I could do a whole show in them, but it worked.
Yeah.
It worked for sound check. So, yeah, it's not like Ken Benetti who uses the Crocs every night now. Like, it started out as... I think he did one show as a joke, and then now it's just the whole tour. He wears Crocs on stage.
That's insane.
Yeah, and he's one of the fastest fucking guys in the world, and he's just like, yeah, fuck it. Whatever.
I'd like to know what their like durability is like, because I mean they're just basically straight rubber, so you probably got like an inch and a half or something of like straight rubber, so you're never gonna like, you know, blow through the bottom of those.
No, I don't think so. You're probably pretty good. Like,
might end up with like some sort of high heel scenario where like the front is like lower than the heel. But
I ended up with that with one pair where I just had like a divot in one, so when I put it on the pedal, I was like, now it feels weird. Like, it's not flat anymore. So I just stopped using those. The DB drum shoes. You ever had a pair of those?
I was about to say that's exactly the same scenario I had, where it was it wore down in one spot somewhere in the ball of the foot, and then it kind of changed the whole feel of being flat on the pedal.
Yeah, and then the company doesn't exist anymore, so you can't get them. And I
was real surprised about that, because they seemed like they were everybody's like drum shoe of choice.
But I think everybody went and bought a pair, and then they're like, okay, like how often do you need to buy drum shoes realistically?
Well, man, I mean, yeah, if you're not gonna be like practicing all the time, I would say that I'd be a great customer, because I think I wore mine down fairly quickly. Had to have been like maybe 6 to 8 months tops, and then I kind of got that weird spot. Yeah, and
so you'd be like once a year, like at a yearly subscription to them would probably like work pretty well.
Yeah, and I mean, I'd probably buy some fucking multiple pairs for like, okay, I got some for tour, I got some for my house, you know, whatever. But yeah, I was surprised when I heard that they went under, because they seemed to be doing so well. And also, like, it was, it took a minute to get used to, but they felt, you know, pretty good. And it felt like it was a good answer to, like, the question of, what do we use to play drums in, you know?
Right, yeah. And now the other companies that have popped up, I've purchased one pair, and I think I played them, like, 3 or 4 times, and I'm like, I just can't do it. It just doesn't feel right. The rubber grip on it, it's like it's too much. Yeah. So it like doesn't work for swivel. I immediately just saw the rubber wearing off onto my pedals, and I'm like, yeah, this isn't gonna work for me. Like, they'd be okay if you're doing like double strokes or something. Like,
exactly,
not a big deal, but I don't know. It's just not the same. It's just like, it's just a piece of rubber and then mesh. That's all they were.
Yeah.
The DB drum shoes were amazing.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, like, just finding anything that works for you is good. If it works, it works. But like, I'm also kind of glad that like the Adidas and the Pumas, like, they're just well-made shoes, so they're not going to fall apart. And like, you know, but it you know, it definitely feels good for like what I'm doing. They're thin enough, you can feel the pedals, but like they're like well-made and durable, and like just last for a while.
Yeah, you would never go to the steel-toe boots.
Oh, Jesus. No, I have no idea what it takes to get to that point. I mean, I guess it's just practice, but like, why? You know, like, I'm not in a black metal band, and I'm not trying to be super hard, so
right.
I think I'll try and pick the comfort over the look.
Yeah, exactly, man. Like, I play in like some some high tops or like Nikes or something like that. If that was the look of the band, right?
Yeah, right.
Like sure, but never like those massive boots, man. Those black metal guys, they're fucking crazy, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, props to them if they can fucking play some insane speeds while wearing that shit. Like,
right? Yeah, staying true.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's the biggest part.
Practicing my jeans and my fucking steel toes every day.
yeah, man. I'm glad I don't play black metal in Norway, I guess.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah. No, man. Playing death metal. You could kind of do whatever you want.
Yeah.
There's no like set thing. There's no like costumes you need to wear on stage or anything. Like
uniform bands are like. Yeah, not my favorite. I mean, it's cool. It's cool to see them do it, but I just don't want to deal with it because I'm like, I like to show up in just my shorts and fucking a t-shirt if I want to, and not have to worry about like the makeup, the stage clothes that you probably have to wear every day. You know, if you're gonna do that.
I like a set of stage clothes. Personally, I like it. I like knowing what pants, what shirt I'm gonna wear. Maybe I have multiple pairs of them, but I like changing out of my regular clothes into my stage clothes. It's like almost putting on an outfit just to mentally prepare for going on stage. Right?
Yeah.
Like for me, it helps me get into like, then I start warming up. Like first thing, I put my stage clothes on and then I start warming up and then I like get into the zone preparing for that rather than like just like walking in like right out of bed on the stage.
Yeah,
that's never worked for me. I like to be in the zone mentally to hit the stage. So
yeah, that makes sense, and it just helps you with like the routine aspect of it. But I'm just basketball shorts and t-shirt. Like,
I switched. I used to be shorts all the time. I switched to pants. I wear jeans now.
Oh my god,
I wear jeans on stage, and for some reason, I fucking love it.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. Like rip the knees out of them, but super tight, black, stretchy jeans. Love it. I love it to death, man. And then like sleeveless shirt, like super low cut. Like that's my look,
Okay.
So,
well, yeah, I'm glad that works because like, dude, I think I run hot. Like I run extra hot. So it's like if I wear pants by like the third song, I'm probably gonna be drenched in sweat. Yeah, like it does not take much for me to break into a sweat, but that would just like really speed up the process.
Oh yeah, dude. Like I started doing it last summer. I was playing drums for this band Striker, and like we were playing these small venues in Spain, and it was fucking hot. But I liked it. I liked how much I was sweating. It was like getting that extra workout in every day. Like playing drums is already a workout, but like burning those extra calories.
Definitely losing the water weight,
bit, right? It's all just water weight. That's it, right? Yeah, I got to replenish after the show, but yeah, I don't know, man. I just loved it. And then you get those after show pictures, and wearing cool jeans. That's really why I do it. You gotta look cool in front of all the babes,
for sure. Yeah. But I just think about the swamp ass that I'm gonna have, and like just
big
the
time. Yeah.
whole back of my pants just being like drenched and having to walk around like.
But that happens in shorts, anyways. That's what I found.
That's true.
Like
they get drippy. That's the worst part. Yeah. They get drippy, and like the pants at least are a little bit more absorbent. But yeah, like still. I would almost be in a Speedo. Like,
I said I was going to do that this next tour. I'm going to just rock a banana hammock the whole tour on stage all day long. Like, that's it.
Right.
Yeah, no, I'm not bringing any other clothes.
And then you just got your one little thing to hang on the hanger and it's dry in 10 minutes.
Yeah, perfect, man. Yeah, just put it out in the sun. She's good to go.
How does the band feel? Do they support this?
I don't know. I don't know how down they are. I think they said like absolutely that'd be hilarious, but I don't think they realize that 3 days in Like I'm still gonna be doing it.
Yeah,
like, you know, we have like a month and a half together, and this is all I'm planning on wearing. So,
and he just keeps wearing them after the show, and he won't put clothes on.
Yeah, it's just like the joke's over, man.
Yeah,
it's like it's not funny anymore.
Listen,
you know?
I found a new lifestyle, and I love it.
Exactly. That's why, dude. I've never been to Florida, right? So this is where all this stems from. Is I've never been to the southeast coast. Just for some reason, none of the tours hit there. I didn't vacation or anything like that. So we're playing Myrtle Beach, and then we're playing Tampa. And I'm like, okay, I need to go all out for this. You know?
Oh, yeah.
I know there's no, like, nobody wears Speedos down there. It's a European thing. But in my head, I'm like, that's going to be smart. I'm going to just rock a Speedo the whole fucking time.
There you
It's
go.
going to be sick. Myrtle Beach, go play some mini putt. Just rocking the Speedo. It'll be awesome.
You're gonna have a lot of new bug bites in places that you don't normally get them.
Touche. Yeah. Maybe I'll rethink this whole plan.
Yeah, dude. Because man, Florida does not fuck around with those bugs. Like those mosquitoes are ruthless down there.
But we should be hitting it. Like, this is next month. We should be hitting it before bug season really hits.
Yeah.
Or is that like all year round in Florida? I don't know.
Florida, yeah, for sure. Because like, I mean, it gets a little bit cold, but it's not nearly enough to do anything about like the overall population down there. Like Michigan, you're cool. I mean, like it's very humid and marshy there. But like, winter comes and then, you know, like at a certain point during the year, the mosquitoes inevitably return. But yeah, in Florida, I think it's like they just lessen for a little bit and then they come back out like in droves when they need to or when they want to.
It's just like waves of them throughout the year. You know, it's like more and then just a little less and then more again. Like, I don't think it ever goes away down there. I am excited though. Like, even though Florida has some crazy people and stuff, but you know,
some great bands out there though. Lots of death metal.
A couple. Right. Like the entire Florida death metal scene, like legendary. Yeah, man.
Yeah, you guys will have fun. That's it's a cool place. It's got some, I mean, lots of different scenery, and good cities to play in too. Yeah.
You guys are on tour for a while here. This is a pretty decent size North American tour. Like, you guys are what, like 5-6 weeks?
Yeah, it's about 6 weeks, and this is the first time we've done Canada in forever.
Yeah, fuck. When was the last? I can't even remember the last time you guys were here.
It was,
to be honest,
I want to say it was 2018.
Yeah,
man, and the last time we came in, we had gotten cocky from years of, smuggling in weed. And so, like, we had some weed pens, and we left one of them on a windowsill. Like, if you've ever been in a bandwagon, you know, like the windowsill over the couch, like, has a lip that's about maybe like 1.5 inches high, and there's like a thing that, you know, is below it, and you can hide stuff on there. And so first thing that happens is, like, when the Border Patrol comes in, they found that, and they walked in the office, and they were like, all right, we found a weed pen, and if anybody else has anything, you got to tell us now, or like we're gonna arrest everybody. And I was like, son of a bitch. So it was like me, Trevor, and Brian that got busted, and they gave us a slap on the wrist, thank God. And like,
thank you.
Like put it on record though. And today we got in with like pretty much zero issues. We haven't been here in like, you know, close to 5 years or something, but just rolled up, and they looked at all of our passports, and then of course they left me and Brian for like the last 2 people to be called up, but like, you know, no issues, didn't ask us anything, and was just like, all right, see you later. So yeah, glad to be back. Glad to be back, hassle free. Hopefully, we're only here for Toronto and then Montreal, and then we go back into the States, and then we loop around, going down like the East Coast and then over to the West, and then come back up through Vancouver, I want to say, and then we're gonna do like Edmonton, Calgary.
And you guys got Winnipeg on there too.
Yeah, and so we're definitely making up for lost time, or we're trying to, anyways. I know we're not hitting all of the, all of Canada that we normally do, but like
you're hitting a lot. Like if you're playing Winnipeg, then you're hitting pretty much everywhere that you need to.
Yeah, no Regina on this though.
Yeah. No Regina and no Ottawa or Quebec City. But it's rare that anyone plays like tours to Ottawa or Quebec City anymore.
Really?
Sadly. They don't get a lot of tours up there. Everyone just comes, does Toronto, Montreal, then they dip down to New York or whatever, or like back out to Michigan. But most tours, that's the way it goes.
And the important part is we're just here at all.
yeah. You're actually here in Canada, and it's sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. But fuck, yeah, that's a pretty long tour for the first, like, run back. I guess you're like, all right, we're going to go all out. Might as well, right?
Yeah, and yeah, it was, I mean, like, part of it was, I think, because, like, again, the lack of Canada shows that we had done in all these years, like, yeah, 2018 probably wouldn't have been a big deal if 2020 didn't happen,
Right, yeah.
But and we probably would have been back at that point, but then just every weird thing the universe could throw at us happened, and so yeah, now we're back, and it's like, I know Brian's been practicing a bunch, but yeah, I was kind of like, man, yeah, 6 weeks is a big deal for somebody who's like doing vocals like full time to be doing, and
going from just some backing vocals to like, all right, you're the front man, 6 weeks on.
Yeah, but
that's fucking crazy.
I think he's got it. I think he's had plenty of time to get conditioned and ready to go, and like I said, we're about a week and a half into this, and he doesn't show any signs of like slowing down. So
that's sick.
It's cool, and like and it's good to just be back doing this and getting to do a long one, and play some festivals too. We're playing that what was it, the Modified Ghost Festival in
sick.
Vancouver. Yeah,
and that one's always sick, man. I've wanted to fly out to see that so many times. Like, last couple years I think they've done it. It's been fucking awesome.
So it's kind of a recent thing.
Like, I think I want to say that it is. Like, it's only been, maybe it was pre-pandemic, but I specifically remember last year was fucking, the lineup was sick.
Nice.
So yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure who's all on our day, but yeah, there's a lot of good bands on the flyer. But yeah, so yeah, just getting to go out and, like I said, do this again and actually like, get a chance to settle in and stuff. It is a little bit long, but like, I mean, I think we've had plenty of time off. So
yeah, do you guys got any plans for Europe?
We are not really planning on doing anything with them just yet, and we're kind of like, for as much as we are wanting to do right now, I think we're still kind of trying to like ease into this, and I mean, this is a great, like, what do you call it, like not experimental tour, but just kind of like a test the waters kind of thing, and just like see how it all goes. But we're keeping it pretty light this year, and Europe is not something that we're looking to do yet. So sorry, everybody.
Sorry, Europe. Maybe next year.
Maybe if you were just north of America, you could have come and seen us.
Maybe if it wasn't such a hassle every time with, fuck, dude, I've known so many bands last year, like talking to the Cattle de Cap guys, their Europe adventure was quite the shit show.
Really?
Yeah, dude, flying in the last couple years over to Europe with gear and everything, I've gotten very lucky with all the flights overseas and everything like that. It's been great, but dude, just an absolute disaster. Like losing gear. Like airlines are out to lunch now. They just don't know anything. Like they don't know what's going on. Like it's a mess. So at least you don't have to deal with that stress. Because dude, every time we fly now, it's like, is our gear gonna make it?
Oh, yeah. Get those air tags, man.
Oh,
Maybe.
we do. But it's like you're sitting on the plane, you're like, okay. And then you see them move over to the plane, you're like, okay, sick. We know everything is on board now.
Yeah.
We're safe. We're
Need
good.
window seats just to confirm.
Yeah.
But,
But
yeah, it's nice. I mean, I have the exact same setup pretty much in Europe that I do here, like same dimension kit. But yeah, nothing beats like having your own stuff. And when I go to Europe though, I take like pretty minimal shit. Like we have a whole, kit with the shells and the hardware and the rack and everything.
Yeah.
And all I bring are like cymbals, pedals, my mixer, sampler, and like my module. They all ride in the same case.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So it's light. I mean, it's still kind of a bit, but it makes things a hell of a lot like simpler. And if you can own any of your own shit anywhere else, if you're like a semi-professional band and are going to be going around places, like definitely just buy a backline,
Yeah, it's the way to go. Like the nice thing too though is I play with Mapex drums and they deal with certain backline companies in Europe. So if I give enough head time, like a couple months out from a tour, then they can set up to have a kit from the backline company, and then it's like, okay, anything other gear wise that the band needs, we just have to go through that backline company, and then everything can just meet us at the first venue and we're all set.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's pretty sick. And I'll say like free stuff is always nice, right? When you're looking at endorsements and, all that type of stuff. But the biggest thing about having an endorsement deal with a drum kit company or anything like that is getting loaner gear when you have to fly out somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've flown out for studio sessions and they made sure that I had a loaner kit in that city for using in the studio. Or like anytime go to Europe or anything like that, like that's, they make sure and they take care of you. Free stuff is always cool, or discounts or whatever, but for me it's just the support when you don't have your own stuff. When you're not going to fly your drum kit over.
Oh,
that's
hell no.
absolutely insane. So the fact that they can support you when you are like not at home, that to me is the biggest reason to endorse a brand. Or like that is you don't get that kind of support from like anything else. Like
I definitely want to test out Tama Brazil next time I'm there. or something of that nature,
they all heard, okay, Black Dahlia Murder is coming to Brazil, so you're gonna get hounded now.
Well, great. I mean, if Tama wants to fucking make it a little bit easier on us, we're never too in the weeds with like getting equipment. I mean, like sometimes it can be very questionable, but other times like we'll luck out and get like some pretty decent stuff and get pretty much everything that we ask for, but it's just some of those tours could be hard. Like if you're doing like a full South America one, you just gotta like fly into every new country and you're like thousands of miles between all these other guys, and it's like, all right, is there a Tama Chile or like a Tama, Argentina or whatever? And because it's like South America, and that's kind of the only place that we play like consistently that we're really relying on like gear to be given to us.
A backline kit, a different backline kit at every show.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're not traveling with any gear, pretty much.
Yeah. And that's nice. Because damn, the more that you can rely on your own shit, that's great. But like you said, I should definitely hit them up and just see what I can get, because that would be super rad if there's some support out there.
Right? Yeah. I don't know. Like when I didn't even think of that when I was looking into endorsing brands or anything like that. And then once I got with Mapex and they were offering all this stuff, it was like, oh, like if you're doing that, like, okay, let's set you up with a kit. I was like, oh, okay, you'll do that? Like,
yeah,
it's so sick. Like everybody just thinks, oh, well, if I get sponsored by this brand, then I'll get some free stuff or I'll get discounts. I'm like, that's great and all, but that's, just money. Like it's also part of the hassle of having to set it all up and everything, but you're just like, here are the dates, this is what I need, and they're like, okay, taken care of. And they deal with all the headache bullshit of it. Like money's one thing. It comes and goes and everything, but the stress of touring to begin with, and then having to set up like all your own backline gear and fucking this, that, the other thing, like it's amazing when the company can support you and take care of all that stuff. For sure.
And part of setting up on a kit that's not yours is like a big time waster, is just kind of like trying to figure out how to make it all work,
Oh yeah.
And that eats into your sound check time and your just like time in general to be on stage without like having anybody in the venue yet. And so if I could get like gear that I'm familiar with, I think it would really cut down on needing to experiment, essentially, like with how you're gonna make shit work with either the drums or the hardware or both.
Yeah. Oh, dude, we did a Spain run last year where I was using house kits for all the dates. One was a festival, so they had a festival kit, which turned out being the worst kit out of all the dates. Like hardware's just falling apart. Like it was a disaster. But it was just pretty much using the other band's kit that was there, and every day was a different setup. I could never get it exactly how I wanted it. And I'm like, I'm just gonna have to deal with it.
Yeah.
That's it. Like when you're in those situations, like for you guys, you're at the level where it's like, nah, like I need it how you want it, right? In order to play these songs.
Right.
Yeah.
And Adam Jarvis, though, was like, he said a number of years ago that like just playing on all the weird setups that you inevitably have to do, like in those early days and stuff, it just makes you a better drummer. And like, he's definitely not wrong, because like I wasn't used to that. Like I kind of came up through drumming for bands in a really quick way, like to then joining Dahlia. So I kind of skipped all the being in a larger band that can go tour overseas and go like use house kits and things like that, to all of a sudden, oh, now I just have this, I have two sets of the same kit.
Yeah, you're laughing.
Yeah, exactly. But then when I went into scenarios like going down to South America or going to a fly-in date at a European festival, it really psyched me out, because I wouldn't have like my gear and I'd be freaking out about how it was set up and how I couldn't set it up and or the way that I wanted. And so
you got spoiled.
Spoiled exactly,
really early on.
And it wasn't by my own design or ability. It was just kind of like, well, you're lucky, so great.
Yeah. Was Abigail Williams one of the first like touring bands you played for?
No, I was in a band called The Breathing Process. And
oh shit, okay. I think I've played with Breathing Process before.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, they're out of Connecticut, and I actually toured with, or no, they toured with our front of house guys band Wretched.
Right.
Our drummer, our sound guy is Marshall Weiserick, and Yeah, so they toured together before I was in their band, and then that was my first touring one. But then I was in another band after that toured a little bit. Actually, that Breathing Process, the second band, Karen Page, out of Ohio, like I did 2 tours with them only, both bands, and then I ended up like quitting. And then Abigail was my third, but they were the first band that I got to go do big tours with, like
legit tour.
Yeah, and but I was playing their kit on that, but we didn't go to Europe, or I didn't go to Europe with them, and have to play on something different. And then that's after that I got into Dahlia. So the whole time period was only probably about like 4 or 5 years of being in bands before I jumped into this.
Yeah. And all those other tours and stuff, you'd have your kit with you, so you never really had to worry about it. Your setup, yeah,
exactly.
It's always the fly out stuff. And I remember, I think John Longstreth talked about that as well, about like you should be able to play on any setup, because you never know if like you have to share kits with the opening band. Sometimes there's not enough room to have 5 kits in the venue, you know. So it's like you have to be prepared to like reorganize your thoughts to be able to play on different setups.
And that is something that I also can't do, and it really sucks because the muscle memory is like what I run off of mostly, and so like to have 3 rack toms and to take one of those away and be like, okay, you're only playing with 2 rack toms tonight, and it's like, but like I have so many fills that are written with a third one, and
dude, I had to play with 1 rack tom in
oh
fucking
my
Vancouver.
God, yeah.
1 kick, 1 rack, 2 floors, but yeah, dude, it was weird, but I was just like, whatever. It is what it is. I can't change this.
Yeah.
You know, we flew in to do this festival, like I got to play on the backline kit. It was silly. I was told there'd be 2, but nope.
Yeah, and it just, I can't basically like transpose the ideas like on the fly, you know, like just moving shit to 2 toms and trying to extend the length of the fill to like accommodate that. And
I fucked up a lot of fills, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad
I did not play great.
Yeah, but yeah, Dave McGraw, same thing. Like we played in Japan, and he kind of, I guess, was using his like alternate kit setup, and he was asking me like, do you think you could ditch a tom because like it'd make, you know, this changeover a little bit easier? And I'm like, dude, I wish I could, but I swear to God, if I do that, like these will be some weird shows. Like,
yeah.
So yeah, it's but going back to the initial thing, like, yeah, if you learn how to do all this stuff, like you'll be a really well-rounded drummer, and just like you won't get thrown off in a lot of live scenarios with any like real potential things that could happen, like just not having the shit that you want, or having to play with, you know, stuff that is still good, but you just kind of get psyched out because it's not yours and it's not set up exactly the way that you want it or whatever.
Yeah. Like, dude, even everything from like my snare height was different. Like everything felt so different with that kit. You know, when usually I'll have the stool and the snare height how I want it, but who cares how many toms? But it was so weird. I can't believe I pulled off the set, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, the stage sound is weird. Like all my ears were like sounded like garbage. Could barely hear the click. Like it was a disaster. But then I saw like footage from front of house, and I was like, wow, it sounded great.
Yeah, you never think it, and then you just think back to when you were in that scenario. You're like, this feels terrible.
This is the worst. Yeah, I learned that like, so like first 2 songs, I was in my head about it, and then I was like, okay, I can't let the crowd know how terrible this is for me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, just have fun, you know, do your best and have fun. That's why I play drums in the first place. That's why most of us, you know, because it's a fun instrument. So I'm like, just have fun. And then after the show, everyone came up. He's like, I've never seen a drummer smile as much as you do. You know, I'm like, okay, well, for one, you haven't seen Bryce Butler play drums.
Yeah,
right. That guy is nonstop smiles all day, right? But thank you for the compliment. Like, that's a compliment for me. I'm having fun up there, and you saw that, and you know, hopefully that brought you a little bit of joy too. So,
yeah. For sure. Yeah, and usually if I'm like laughing a bunch, it's probably because I'm like, I can't believe all this shit that I'm fucking up.
But I'm sure it sounds fine to the audience. That's the thing, man.
Yeah, exactly.
We're definitely our own worst critics when it comes to that shit. So it's like, yeah. Do you play everything like as exact to the record as you can?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of pick and choose some of it the way that I do it. Like, if there's certain fills that I'm not really into, like, for the first album, Unhallowed, like, there's a lot of the same fills, and they're different. They're not just all like, singles that are like, but like, I'd say that there's probably like 4 or 5 like repeating fills throughout the whole album. And so I'll try and keep some of that shit just so it's characteristic to the original.
Yeah.
But like, if there's anything else that I'm feeling that I want to do, I'll throw that in. And then when Shannon joined, he had kind of like learned things the way that he wanted to do it, but it was close to the album. And with like Miasma and Zach's drumming, like, it's really cool, but it feels like he was maybe a little bit more like in the moment in the way that he recorded it. So like, it's not, there's not repeating stuff like there is later on in other Dahlia albums with like Shannon, and Shannon had like parts like fills that he would write where if that's what he was doing during the chorus, that's what he's going to do the next time during the chorus, whereas like Zach might play something one time and then change it up the next time, and so you never know exactly what you're going to get.
It's like, this is the transition from the verse to the chorus. Always. Right? And except maybe going into the last chorus, we might do something different, but that's written. When Miasma was like not as like written out, just like in the studio, hit record.
Right. And so like with Zach's stuff, I tried to learn it very close to what he does because I like the style that he had on that album. Like, it sounds really cool. He's got a lot of really cool drum beats and fills and things. But it also made more sense to learn something like Miasma that felt a little bit more chaotic with like the fills and how they don't repeat all the time. Shannon, watching live videos of him, he had like a system where it was like, okay, so when we go into this part, here's that fill, and then when we go into this part, here's that fill, and like repeating stuff. And so then I kind of like took the two of their styles and blended them. So I was like, all right, now I definitely know what I'm doing for fills, and it works really simply, but then I can add in little accents and blasts or something that he was doing, that Zach was doing on the original. So that's kind of what I do, is just take any mashup of the shit that I want and make it work for me.
Yeah. So when you're rehearsing though, like, you'll take everything from rehearsals and like dial it in and then just do that live. Right?
Yeah.
You're not really like, because a lot of times I'll just make shit up live just to keep the rest of the band on their toes.
Oh man. Well, my guys are definitely not of that nature. Like, they all like to have a very like solid show in terms of like, it's always pretty much going to be the same fills. Like, if I do something different, it's probably because I like messed something up and it just came up, like it came out some other way. And it's not necessarily terrible, but it's also kind of like a little nerve-wracking if you were like, oops, didn't do that the way that I was like practicing or playing it all on this tour. But it just, I don't know, when everybody knows what you're going to do and when you know what you're going to do, it does get really boring. Like, but at the same time, you're never like worried about, like if they're going to fucking mess it up. And also, when you hear something different, it kind of throws you off. Like, depending on what kind of band you're in, because if it's like, if you're used to people doing different things all the time, then you're not thinking about it. But like, if you're hearing a different fill or a different melody or a different, like, you know, solo or whatever, those details can kind of get distracting if you've just been listening to it the same night after night and year after year, you know?
Yeah, even at rehearsal the other day, I did a fill that went over the bar when it's supposed to kick into the next part right away, and they look at me like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
What are you doing? I'm like, I don't know, man. Like,
yeah.
I'm trying something new. Didn't work, okay? Like, I won't do it live, all right? Yeah.
Yeah, and that's definitely fun. It's just... Yeah, this is just kind of how everything rolls with us, but it makes it feel like, all right, kind of get into autopilot and just make sure that it all works.
It kind of makes it easier too.
Yeah.
If you have days you run down or whatever, and you're just like, you can go up there, your body knows what to do night after night. It's fine, you know?
Yeah,
you're
completely.
Good. Yeah. Definitely. Well, dude, I think that you have a show to play soon, so we should probably wrap this up. You know, we're sitting across from the Phoenix Concert Theater in Toronto.
Never been here before, first time?
Yeah, man, it's sick. I remember the first time that I met you was at the Mod Club, I believe.
Mod Club.
It must have been one of your first tours with BDM.
Okay.
The Mod Club, and then we went and we smoked bowls outside.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is that a downstairs club?
No, it's street level.
Oh, okay. I'm sure if I fucking walked in there, I know exactly what it is.
Yeah,
but like,
it's not called the Mod Club anymore. It's called Club Axis. But
okay.
Either way, yeah, I think you guys did a couple shows there. It's a little smaller. So tonight will be fucking good though. Phoenix sound is usually pretty sick. So
yeah, it looks like a nice big room. I just kind of missed the kind of like castle dungeon feeling of the opera house that we're in every time.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in the backstage area and all that.
Yeah. The backstage, like underneath the stage.
Yeah, a lot of low like ceilings, a lot of like narrow hallways, and it's like kind of dimly lit down there. It definitely has like castle vibes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude, for sure. Yeah. It's sick. It's kind of gross, but you know, it's a pretty sweet backstage.
I do enjoy it.
Yeah, man. All right, well, thanks for joining me on this podcast, man. It's been a blast hanging out and talking some drums.
Yeah, man. I'm glad we got to do it, and hopefully it won't be another 5 years before we're back again.
Yeah. Fuck, I hope not.